Okay, so I guess I should start. So, good afternoon, Vietnam. So, thank you for your warm welcome, Ho Chi Minh City, and its people, friendly people, and caring, very hospitable. Okay, so it's my first time in this country. Uh, so far, so good. Food is nice, especially our lunch and everything. Okay. So I will be presenting implementing network security with, of course, MikroTik Router OS, IP Firewall, and advanced and extra conditions. Okay, so before I proceed, let me formally introduce myself. So my name is Oxville Gio Nabia. So came from the Philippines. Our company is Incurinity Corporation. So currently, I'm a MikroTik certified trainer. So last year, so I'm also a MikroTik Academy coordinator in our country, in the Philippines, and as well as MikroTik Academy trainer. So I have several certifications in MikroTik, and I also have other certifications for other products. So you can reach me, Facebook, LinkedIn, and those numbers and an email. So allow me to uh, tell about my company or my company back in the Philippines. So Inquirinity Corporation. So Inquirinity is not really uh, an English term that you can find on a dictionary. So it's a make-up word. So inquire, infinity. So it's like never stop learning. And if you go to the background of never stop learning, it's like you can gain more skills and gain more knowledge on certain. Okay, so it's based on Davao City, Philippines. So just like Ho Chi Minh City, Ho Chi Minh, if my geography is correct, it's on the south of your country, Vietnam. So my place is in also on the south. So we are mainly an ICT certification based training. We do MikroTik training extensively since last year. We also do other certifications, the certifications that I have. So one of our branch, we have a school, a technical vocational school. It's like grade 11 or 12. I don't know in your country. So we are one of the MikroTik Academy. So MikroTik has this wonderful program that will provide facilities, routers, the materials, and so on and so forth. And we're slowly going to the grassroots level. I hope we can have a MikroTik Academy or for like something like this for students. So we are a reseller of ICT products as well. So of course, definitely MikroTik. So we have partnered for a startup WISP, a wireless internet service provider. So back there in our country, so far the fiber or the other internet lines are not that placed enough and it's not go to the remote location. So and also the terrain in our country with mountainous areas and hills and so on and so forth. Okay, so practical to have a wireless internet service provider. So WISP. Okay, so we have a lot in our country. Okay, so we also do system and network consultation in some time. Okay, so that is Inquirinity Corporation. So my talk will be about network security. So I just want to share sort of experience from me. So a pitfall for a neophyte network administrator is to plan and achieve network connectivity. Meaning to say, can I connect? Can I get an IP address? Can I see the Wi-Fi? Can I get an IP address? And achieve the prescribed client connection? For example, I'm expecting to get 10 Mbps. I'm expecting to get this and this upload speed and this download speed. But the pitfall there is you don't plan towards beyond network connectivity and its prescribed requirements, and that is security. So we tend to expect that the performance will be there forever, okay? And the 10 Mbps will be there forever as well. So no, we should have planned, okay? So I remember during my interview when I was in network, applying for a network technician in a foreign country before. So back then, my interviewer was sort of telling me I am lucky enough because he have one question for me, or one question or task for me. So I said, wow, okay. But then again, he mentioned task. So if it's a question, it's a one question, I can just answer directly. But when he say question or task, then I might have an idea that he will be giving a task. So, okay, no surprise. It's not a question, but a task. He told me to draw a network diagram. So back then, I have limited enterprise network experience. I don't have a single international IT certification when I go abroad. I worked for Singapore for 5 years. So of course, I just rely on my classroom knowledge and a limited small and business skills. So I draw a network diagram like internet cloud. I have a router, I have a switch, I have an endpoint. Of course, I have lines for wired and wireless. And after I draw, from the moment the pen, okay, it was separated away from the whiteboard, and a few seconds when I turned back to the interviewer, he shoot me a question that, do you think your network diagram is complete? Do you think that there is lacking? So from an inexperience for mine, so I cannot think of anything lacking, okay? I have cloud, internet cloud, I have the router, I have the switch, I have the access point, I have the wired and wireless connection. So what else I'm missing? So he told me, how should you suppose to secure your network? Okay, do you think you're missing a security component like a firewall, okay, or a AAA server, something like that? So it's innocent, really. But then again, to cut the story short, okay, so he just gives me an idea that, okay, network is very important. But today's world, we have IT managers who are continuously planning this. We have policies already that you have to follow. IT managers or companies will work with system integrators to ensure that we have. And of course, there are even companies that are posting like bounties, and okay, I'm paying you 10,000, hack my network, pen test, or whatever, okay, bounties. So then again, there's really an importance of network security. So the other objective here is really, it's a primer for MTCTC certification. So the MikroTik Certified Traffic Control Engineering course. Of course, MTCNA is a prerequisite. So it's good it's good to really have the skill. It's the one that keep you employed, but it's also good to have a certification or to certify your skill, okay? Not only for boasting or whatever, but okay, it's there's a third part, there's a party to really recognize and certify your skills. So that's equally important, okay? Then one of the other objective, or the last objective, is to look beyond network connectivity and build and maintain secure networks. My talk today is time constrained. I don't ambition that this talk or this presentation of mine will give you a foolproof network security baseline or sort of an implementation guide, a full implementation guide for you in network security. But this is just to remind us what are the tools, or what are the built-in tools that are already there with MikroTik and in his RouterOS, okay? To achieve my objective to look beyond the network connectivity and build and maintain secure networks, okay? So we are in need of granularity on our firewall policies, okay? So the general tab, okay, of course, if you have seen a RouterOS, is you go to IP, you go to firewall, and the very first tab, okay, normally or usually will be the general. Okay, you only have chain, you have source address, IP address, you have the in and out interfaces. So yes, there is a kind of what we call a traffic that you can get, or you can match on those general tab. But if you need more granularity, if you are looking for for example, for scenarios for non-contiguous networks, or meaning networks that are not adjacent or not neighbor, okay? And you are looking for unknown ports, okay? Although there's Google and there's Wikipedia for you. But there are traffic that would not work with, for example, a very common port, yeah? What if you are looking or matching a traffic for content? What if you are trying to match a traffic with time, connection rate, and so on and so forth? So you cannot work only with the general tab of the IP firewall, okay? So this is my center of my talk, is the advanced condition. So I just trick off, there are other advanced conditions in IP firewall, but more so they are on what we call traffic prioritization and load balancing. You have PCC, you have NTH, for example, okay? So I just leave them off, okay? There's also random. So those are the things that will be highlighted today or this afternoon. So source address list, destination address list, layer 7, content, and so on and so forth, up to ICMP options. So source and destination address list. So of course, you have only a source, a single source for the general. So now, if you are trying to block, let's say, a malicious sites or block of or a group of sites, then okay, yes, you can do on a general, but multiple lines of firewall rules. Well, of course, if you want to summarize it and you want to, of course, to be efficient in writing a policy line, for example, even allow and deny, and you only make a single statement to combine both. Okay, you can create two statements for allow and deny, but you can only write a single statement to achieve that. It's my point. So that's why you use the address list. Okay, so what are the network security use cases for address list? So the filtering or the prevention of bogus IPs. So there are a group of special IP addresses, IPv4 addresses, for example, that is not assigned by IANA or RIR to a special, to an entity, okay? So normally, for example, private addresses that should not supposed to come in from the public or your one, for your wide area network or for your one or internet facing protocol of interface. So, however, okay, you as if you want to filter bogus IP, you need to be updated as well, because sometimes network operators group will send an email or an update that, for example, a 49.0.0.0 last time was part of the bogus IP, but IANA actually used it already, so you have to take out from that list. So again, they expect, because the IPv4 will be exhausted, okay, some of those will be used already by an entity because we are grasping with those IPv4, so you have to be updated. Port knocking, so I think a very nice talk this morning about security and means of the basic security, like you can log into Winbox, you can straight away log into all the common ports. So port knocking is a way for you to close down all ports, and there is now a stealth way or a sequence of undisclosed, what we call pre-specified closed ports that you have to, in sequence, in a particular time, you have to input, you have to connect to that, and it can open, or you are allowed to open, or you are allowed to access the MikroTik. In a way, it's very increased security. You have whitelisting, of course, and you have blacklisting. Those are pretty, what we call, self-explanatory in that manner. Okay, so we have layer 7 protocol. So some traffic is not about a specific destination. For example, a group of video addresses, a group of something like this, streaming sites, but you are trying to match a certain, what you call, expression, a certain particular signature on a particular traffic that a regular IP address or a port or a simple interface, out interface will not suffice. So you have layer 7, or the application layer. You have the 7 layers of our OSI. So it's on the top, application layer. So however, caveat on the wiki, layer 7 matcher is very resource intensive, and it could not detect or it cannot identify protocols with SSL or HTTPS. Okay, so the use cases, file type filtering. Okay, so general, if you want to block a particular file type, okay, you don't have any option. Okay, how do you block a .exe, a .vbs, a .bat or batch file in the general tab? So you have to find a way. So for example, layer 7 protocol. However, again, if you go back, it could not really identify if the traffic is encrypted, much more it's fragmented. Okay, so there are wonderful made for MikroTik solutions and plugins that you can find in one of the MUM discussions. On the last part, I added a certain links for those to make MikroTik a so-called cybersecurity appliance, for example. Okay, so for to answer the HTTPS, okay, weakness or the lacking of that is now the TLS-host. Okay, so it's quite new, not really quite new. So it uses the what we call the SNI, the TLS, the transport layer security, and SNI, the server name identification. So TLS SNI is a way for a single, it's one of the solutions for IPv4 exhaustion. It's a way for a certain single address to use several names, okay? So although it's encrypted by TLS or SSL, the TLS extension SNI is now the remote domain name, okay, can be seen in a clear text. So you can, anyone could sniff at traffic and exactly knows what is the destination remote domain name, even though it's using HTTPS, because the TLS SNI extension is clear text. Okay, so now if your layer 7 is could not detect HTTPS traffic, TLS will be one of those. Okay, that can be answered. So you can block malicious HTTPS websites. Okay, so you have content. Okay, so content. Of course, I write the word there. I write a single word, but however, it's not the ideal way to use that. For example, if you type the word or put the word content Facebook, it will block any website that has a content of Facebook, of course, okay? Or not only the URL, okay? So in security essence, you try to find some, for example, the content 530 login username incorrect, okay? Someone is thinking of a chance to go in by dictionary attack or whatever, so you try to block with those using content. But then again, okay, it will not work if the content is encrypted or fragmented to another packet. Okay, so we have 1,500 maximum transmission unit. Okay, so you have also a maximum segment size. So content, okay, could be used in with other advanced or extra conditions to form part as a solution in dealing brute force attacks. Okay, so you have connection bytes, so matches packet if only a given amount of bytes has been transferred to, so it should see a particular connection, upload and download. So you have also the connection rate, so a firewall matcher that allows to capture traffic based on speed of the connection. So work only with TCP and UDP traffic. You have also the network security use case for this. Okay, although the implementation is more of traffic prioritization, it could be working hand in hand with other, for example, other parameters, be it content, be it the ports, okay, to at least establish what is your normal traffic, okay, and what are those traffic that is not really the usual that you can see in your network. So it could form as a baseline basis for your networking monitoring activities. Next is packet size. So matches packets of specified size or size range in bytes. So of course we have from 0 to 65,535. The network security use cases example is to prevent ICMP attacks. ICMP, it's more than just a ping, okay? And there are so many ICMP options, and you will be surprised there are so many attacks using, or so many forms of attacks that you can think of using the ICMP protocol. Router solicitation, you have ICMP, for example, injecting a certain data. So there is there's a particular bytes, okay, the normal ping for in Linux, in Windows, they have different in bytes, but you can inject certain data. So it's now what we call form of denial of service or distributed denial of the service attack, okay? So other parameters, you have also TCP flags. So of course, the very familiar handshake, okay, SYN, ACK, and ACK, but there is more than that. So we have other TCP flags. So we have, for example, if you want to close the connection, FIN. If you want to prioritize a connection, push, and there is urgent as well, okay? So there is a wonderful wiki by MikroTik in combination of all the flags, okay, to prevent any SYN flag attacks or any attacks that is using the TCP flags. And they are in combination, meaning to say is using different flags. I think one of the, I don't know if you're familiar of, there is such a term as Christmas tree packet attack. Okay, you can Google that. Okay, Christmas tree packet that is making forms or making use of those TCP flags. We have ICMP options. So by right, these are what we call the needed things or the needed options, the echo reply, the destination unreachable, the echo, you have the echo request and echo reply, and so on and so forth. So matches ICMP by type and code fields. Okay, so these are the codes. So typically, you have this ICMP message that you need to open up, okay? So it's not good to completely fully or completely block ICMP because there are particular use cases for ICMP, especially for in network discovery. So you have ping, you have trace route. This is the what we call the, if you go back, the type and code combination, okay, 00, 80, 11, 0, 33, and so forth. Other types of ICMP messages should be blocked, but you have to carefully read that particular ICMP options, and there are many, okay, ICMP options. So for advanced conditions, so you can use those parameters. So if you feel that you can still not catch the traffic that you wanted, so you have also what we call extra conditions. So connection limit, destination limit, time, source and destination address type, and PSD. Okay, so connection limit, of course, matches the per address on a particular connection used together with new and the TCP flag SYN because this matcher is resource intensive. So, okay, a screenshot for that. Okay, so for example, match until the connection limit of 50 is reached per /32 IP address of the network. So connection limit. So you have also limit. So if connection limit is for connections, limit is for packets, so matches packets up to a limited rate, okay? So the selector, the matcher have other parameters as well. You have rate, you have time, you have burst, you have mode, okay? For example, for this, it's like if you want to match an average 100 packets per minute, okay, not counting the 5 burst packets. So you can, okay, you have packet and you have bit, okay? Then finally, on those limits, connection limit, you have the destination limit. So matches packets until a given rate is exceeded. So as opposed to the limit matcher, every flow has its own limit because you have the destination limit. Okay, so the flow is identified by these parameters. So rate, time, burst, limit by, and expire. Sample for this is, okay, something like that. So for every flow by destination address, match until there is 100 packets, okay? So meaning to say, if you work or you monitor your network carefully, okay, it's not on the first day you can identify what is normal and abnormal on your network. you will know that, okay, there is really this particular traffic that is unusual, okay, and why it's going to that particular destination address. It's not your popular or most used IP address, for example, Google or other websites. Is this a funny IP somewhere not really on your normal activity? So you can already see from there. So, okay, so network security use cases, DDoS detection and blocking, and dealing with brute force attacks. Okay, so of course, we are talking about traffic, we are talking about the other parameters, but what about time, okay? What if the attack happened when you're not around or you are not monitoring, okay? So, of course, you can create some firewall or time-based access rules to match particular time, okay? You can, for example, no one is using this particular server, okay, after office hours, so perhaps you want to be very sure you can block all the traffic towards that server or that system after office hours, or during Saturday or Sunday you are not expecting someone to come in, so why would you want to open, for example, something like that, okay? So you can allow or create a filter based on time, so office hours, after office hours, okay, you're limited. Okay, so you can make use of this time with destination limit and other forms, okay, to find a more granular rules. Okay, so the network security cases is time-based access rules. So you have also source and destination address type. So there are some addresses that, okay, sometimes it's not really what we call the one that you are expecting to come in. Okay, for example, a broadcast address that is coming into your WAN, or a private IP address, or a local IP address that is coming into your WAN, and you are not expecting that one. So you can also fine-tune your more granular firewall, okay, source address type. So block any packets outside your network directed to the broadcast address, and block outgoing packets from your network destined for broadcast address. But again, to be very careful, of course, you don't want, okay, there are attackers that purposely frame or put in their traffic or their packet to mimic, to have an IP that would be your, for example, would be one of your essential services. For example, Google DNS, okay? For example, you have 8.8.8, okay, coming from this, and you are not expecting that, okay? So your firewall line will block it. So in a way, when that particular source of traffic will be blacklisted, then actually the attacker has gained what he wanted to do, okay? So you cannot therefore now use those IP addresses going out because, for example, the IP spoofing attack. So you have PSDs, okay? So port scanner detection. So you have a weight threshold. This is the default one with MikroTik, okay? So if you reach this threshold, you can tell that kind of traffic is doing port scanning, okay? So you can have a particular weight. Low port weight is the low ports from 1 to less than 1024, and of course high ports are more greater than or higher than that. Okay, so of course PSDs are to drop port scanners. You can implement PSDs in the input chain. Of course, network security is not only protecting someone from outside going in, but of course you want also to protect from your internal side and doing some malicious activities via your network, and in turn make your IP addresses blacklisted because someone in your network is doing some funny things. So you want to block also from within, not only always looking from the outside. So you can have also PSDs. So like I said, I have listed some notable MUM presentation. I was thinking of providing examples, but I only have a 30-minute talk. I cannot do every example. Okay, so you have I've collated notable MUM presentations that is wonderful examples for using each of those conditions. Layer 7, you have TLS Host, brute force, okay, IDS, okay, using limit, port knocking, and PSD. You have also denial of service using with TCP flags, connection limit, okay. So of course the resources, okay, you have wiki, you have MUM, you can, okay, you have a lot already on wiki and MUM, and also of course forum, because in forum you have those persons have really tested or tried a particular rule, and they will feedback on those. And I think that's it for me. So, questions so far before I say thank you or salamat po in our native language?
No questions? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Now we'll hear